The target on screen is a target that my dad drew up at work, what must be 20 years ago now, and it's been photocopied and used ever since. That's pretty much all we use to sighting the rifles. It's just based on 1-inch squares, so you get the 1-inch bars and a 1-inch square in the centre, so that gives easy reference to what clicks to move the scope when sighting it in. So what I aim to do in this movie is remake that target, but for the new generation we're going to make a new generation of targets. We're going to add splatter technology into the target so we can easily see the bullet holes in the dark areas. So what I've gone and done is buy some what should be incompatible paints. So I've got the water-based paints and the oil-based paints. I also bought some high temperature paint, which by my reasoning should be more brittle than the others, since it wouldn't have the elastomers of the other paints. So I'll start by making some bright coloured undercoats of both the water-based and the oil-based paints. And then by using a stencil, I'll mark out the target design and spray the black coat over the top. So we'll spray an oil-based black paint over the top of a yellow water-based, and vice versa. Yeah, I was starting to run out of paint by the time I decided to film this. What was noticed when the oil-based was painted over the top of the water-based was it was coming away and leaving little craters, which I viewed as a good sign. So that was just left to skin over and then given another coat, which filled up the craters and dried with an even coating. So I've got the photocopy to use as a control. The oil-based over the top of water-based, high temperature paint over the top of water, and high temperature over the top of oil-based. The others are just straight painted paper, so I didn't bother with a stencil for those. So let's put some shots into them. The two with the most promise seem to be the high temperature paint over the top of the oil-based and the oil-based paint over the top of the water-based. So that's what I've set up with the photocopy in the center. So that was the high temperature paint, and I can't see any splatters, not through the scope cam anyway, which is less than sharp, but you still should see something. So I'm just trying to shoot a loose group here. It should be hitting in the top right hand side. This rifle isn't sighted in, it was actually hitting off the side of the paper, so I've moved it in 2 inches so it hit in the black. Now there's some visible bullet holes where they should be. About 3 inches high and to the right. So you see the first group a bit off to the right and the 3-shot group in the black. Only a slight ring is seen around the high temperature paint. The photocopy is virtually invisible. And the big winner was the oil-based on top of the water-based, which gave a good size splatter around the 17 caliber holes. The group was a bit tighter than what I was aiming for, but what can you do? Okay, to sum things up, photocopy is the control, high temperature over oil-based, just a slight ring, high temperature over water-based, and again high temperature over oil-based. That was disappointing, I expected more from that. And the winner is the oil-based over the water-based. So I shot it a few more times. And this target's the same, which I'd left out in the rain. So I'll show you how durable the coatings is. folding it back on itself 180 degrees, giving it a tight crease, creates a little crack along the crease, but doesn't fall away. By a pinch you get enrolling that crease, you do get the top coat to come off. So the targets resist normal handling quite well. Here's some high speed camera shots of the same target being shot with the 22. So you can see the paint flaking off around the bullet hole and blowing away in the wind. So I've never seen the commercial shoot and see targets from which this is based. I'm not even sure if you can buy them here, so I can't really give direct comparisons, but it seems to work fine. If someone else does try it, post down in the comments and say how, and tell us how it went, because I'm only using 2 types of paint. Different brands may give different results. I can't guarantee it'll work for you, but it certainly works for me.